Welcome to codezing.org. Today we're going to look at a Python project. It's a level 1 project called Word Scramble. So you can imagine what that one's going to do. You can find the code at codezing.org/word_scramble, or you can just make your way over to the website codezing.org, go to the level 1 code, and head down to Word Scramble. Actually, I really like this one. I've always liked Word Scrambles. And to have something that kind of automatically makes you one, I always find it's a fun game to play with my kids, or you play with your friends, or whoever you can find who also likes word scrambles. I put some examples over here. I don't know what that was that I scrambled, but maybe try to say it scrambled. I don't know. Let's see. Is that what that is? Yeah, maybe something like that. So kind of fun. Put in a message. Try to see if you can read it scrambled. Urtoi Bidarasida. I don't know. It's kind of fun. Or you can just have your friends guess. And think up a word. Scramble it and see if your friends can guess what that is. Maybe give them a certain amount of time. I don't know. It was kind of cool. Alright, so let's see how we do that. If we go to view the Python code, just copy this. And then go to your Spider IDE and paste that in. If you don't have Spider yet and you don't have Python, go back to codezing.org and follow the links to get that installed on your computer. You're obviously going to need that if you want to start doing computer programming, but it's free, it's open source, and a great tool. So let's start tearing this apart and see what we can do here. I always like to put in some spaces just to make it a little easier to read. The first line here is import random, which you've probably seen on some of the other ones. If you haven't, import random is importing a Python library called random, and it has a lot of functionality around drawing random numbers, random integers, taking a random sample, which is what we're going to do here. You can always Google Python random, and it will give you the documentation of all of the possible choices. You can even use it for advanced statistics to draw from a distribution. Super powerful, and you get all of that functionality with just one line, import random. The next line is the user input piece, which we've seen on quite a few of the other projects. This input with the brackets is just going to post this text to the console, and whatever the user types in, it's going to assign that to the variable message. So message is going to equal whatever the user inputs, and inside the brackets this text string is what's going to post to the console. And you can tell it's a text string because it's in between the two quotes here. And you can use single or double quotes, but you can't mix and match. So single quotes are fine, double quotes are fine, but mixing and matching will give you that. Meaning Python was still trying to find the end of that quote and ran to the end of the line and couldn't find it, and so it's saying it's the end of the line while scanning string literal. It never found the closing quote, and so it never figured out when to stop. But if we do open quotes, perfectly fine. Type that in. Great. This message string variable is equal to just a blank string in the beginning. We've seen this a couple times before. We're going to append to that string. So we start out with a blank string just to make this exist, and then we're going to be adding down here. We're going to loop through all the letters and just append them to the string. But we got to start with a message string, or it's going to get mad at us. I guess we could try that. Let me see. If we don't have that in there, what does it say? And feel free always to try it out. It didn't get mad at us, but what did it do? It scrambled it maybe twice? Is that what happened? Oh, because it's never resetting it. I see. It's keeping it in memory and it's kind of stacking on, so it's never, maybe that's why I put that in there to reset it. So it's taking that and then it's appending this to it, and then it's appending the hello to it, and it keeps kind of building and building. It keeps remembering what that was. It's not resetting it back to an empty string. Alright, so maybe that blanks it back out. It says forget what message string used to be, Python, and start over again with a blank one. Message list is then taking a random sample of message. So remember, message is up here. Whatever they type in will be the variable message. Random.sample is going to look at the message, and it's going to return a random sample that is the length of message, which means I want the entire thing. So you could put any number in here, any integer, and it'll bring back that many. So if I put 1, it's only going to bring back one random sample. So just pick the F, and it only returns 1. If I wanted to return all of them, I would have to know how long the person's message is, and I don't know that to start with, right? I could say return like 100, and say, well, they're probably going to type something less than 100, but then it doesn't like that because it can't pull 100 samples, right? Because there isn't 100. So how can we fix that? By doing this other cool thing in Python, the length. So length of message. I'll print that out so you can see what length of message returns. So hello, we can see length of message is 5. So it actually, this len, which stands for length, and then use the brackets, put your variable in there, and it will tell you the length, how many characters are in that message. So for our random sample, I wanted to pull every letter. So look at the message and count the number of characters and pull that many back. Pull that many samples, because I want all of them back. And then the for loop is looping through all the letters. We can print letter and print message string. And so this, we can actually watch it kind of build up the string for us. So if we do this, we can see that it is going to grab a random sample of hello, and then it's going to start building it up letter by letter until we finally get the endpoint. So let's print out message list so you can see what this function is doing up here, what this method is doing. If I type hello again, we'll see that this piece of code here, message list equals random sample of the message and all the characters, is building this list. Right, so this is a Python list. You can tell because it's a square brackets, and then each of these text strings, these characters, is separated by a comma. So it's breaking hello into a list, a Python list, and it's randomly selecting the letters as it builds this list. Then the for loop is going to loop through every letter and then take message string and add the letter to it. So the new message string is going to equal the old message string plus the letter. And you can see it's building that up. So it's finding L and adding that to our blank message string. So we get L. Finds the next L, then the O, then the E, then the H, and then it's all done. Then it's printing the message string at the end. So you can kind of see how that's building it up, and you can tell it's random because if we put in hello, you can see the first time it did LLOEH, and this time it's LEOHL. So every time it's randomizing, or it's randomizing the selection of letters. So this random.sample every time is randomly picking those letters. So kind of cool. I think it's cool. I like word scrambles, but that's just me. Hopefully you do too. And now you can make your own, fast and easy. I think the one thing, if somebody can figure out how to do it with spaces. So if you put in like, I am a lemur and I like bananas. What it does here is, you can tell it keeps the spaces, but it doesn't put them in the same spacing, right? Because it does like I space am, but it's only one letter there. It's kind of randomly drawing the spaces too. And so if you do like print message list, if somebody out there can figure out how to get those spaces to be in the right, maintain the right spacing, that would be cool. because you can, whoops, input random. Oh wow. That's another thing. If you totally blow this up, you can always come up here. You can always come up here to consoles and then restart kernel. Restart kernel is just like starting Python over from scratch. I mean, you can always like file, quit, and then start it over. But if you do consoles restart, it will come over here. If it's totally just, you know, running, you did some kind of a loop that's never going to end, this stop button will kill it, or console restart kernel will just kind of reboot the entire system. You start over from scratch. So word of the wise, if you mess it up like I did there, you can always do that. But like I was saying, you can see it kind of, it counts these, it counts the blanks, the spaces, as just another letter to kind of randomly sample. And so at the end, it puts the spaces in there, but not in the right length. If somebody can figure out how to keep those spaces in the right place, I think that would be cool. Because then you could make like really long word scrambles, and it would make a little more sense. Then people might not know that this is supposed to be 3 words. So, alright, we'll play around with it, have fun, come up with something cool. If you figure out how to solve my problem, you can email me the code, and we'll post it on the site, and I'll give you full credit, and all your friends can come and see the cool work you're doing and the codes you're building. So hopefully you've learned a lot, and I wish you a lot of luck and have fun.